What is good, guys? M.V.K here, back again. How is everybody doing on their end? And we are here once again to deliver another Patreon exclusive theme Q&A. But this time it's a lot different, guys. This time I didn't choose just one specific theme. I went with a multiple theme. So this is the first and probably of many multiple theme Q&As. This time around there were four categories to choose from. And the four categories were movie, video games, comics, and anime. So I chose four of my favorite vices and hobbies, and I wanted to see which members of my Patreon will follow through. Biggest thing was you had to ask a question for each category, and there were some rules, and I wanted to see also how many people would stick to the rules and go with it. And there were a few. There were 12 people who actually left me questions. So 12 people, 4 questions for each. I say that's a good number of questions to get to. So we're gonna kick this off, guys. We're gonna kick this off with the first person to deliver questions for me when I put this up, and that is Ken Houston. Ken Houston asks me a first question. He says, "I like this, Chris." Okay, here we go. His movie question is, "What was the last movie you saw in the past 5 days?" The last movie I saw in the past 5 days. Like, I actually sat down and watched a movie in last 5 days was probably Demolition Man. Yeah, I watched Demolition Man. Yeah, it was Demolition Man. One of my favorite Sylvester Stallone movies. Outside of his, outside of Rocky and, Rambo and things like that. So yes, basically Demolition Man was the last movie I saw in the past 5 days. I love Demolition Man. It's such a fun movie. But also, who really steals the show in that movie is Wesley. Wesley Snipes was just great in that movie. He was like the Joker, but he was like if Joker knew how to fight and was super strong and everything like that. I love that movie. So yeah, that was the first one. Your comic question is, what was the first Flash comic you ever read? Oh man. The first Flash comic I ever read, I think it was Barry's run. I know it was Barry's run. It wasn't Wally's run. It was Barry's run, because I grew up with Barry and then transitioned into Wally. I can't remember the initial comic. I could be wrong. I think it definitely was around the 200s, because I remember reading it at my local comic store at the time. It was, I believe it was, oh man, I'm trying to think. I know it was in the 200s. I think it was Flash issue number 271. I think that was the Silent Slayer of Central City. I believe that was it. I could be wrong. I know it was around the 200s. I barely remember what the issue was about, but I do remember that. I do remember it was around that issue. It was at my local comic store, not Midtown Comics. It was another store I used to go to before Midtown Comics, and instead of being in Manhattan, it was in the Bronx. And I actually sat down and read it there, and I was like, okay, and that was the first time I read it. So yeah, it's somewhere around the 200s. moving on to the next question. Let me see. Ken, your video game question is, what's a video game franchise what would be a video game franchise you would give the remake treatment? Video game franchise I would give the a franchise, or just a franchise. Max Payne. Yeah, Max Payne would probably be it. I give the first Max Payne a remake, a more crisper looking remake treatment. Yeah, that's definitely one of them. I like Max Payne, but I definitely give that the remake treatment. That's just one. There's others. If it was just a video game, just not a franchise, like, remember the game Comic Zone from Sega? I would have wished they'd have given that a remake, because I love that game. Yeah, stuff like that. Max Payne is definitely one. Maybe True Crimes. Yeah, there's a couple of them. And your anime question is, what's an anime you never got into? Food Wars. I never got into that. Not my cup of tea. I don't know. I love food, but I'm not gonna watch. I seen clips of it, and I'm just like, what the hell were these people on? Like, there's parts where they're eating these food and they're having like orgasm. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm not. That's not with me. Not my cup of tea. No, thank you. Let's move on to the next question. Let's move on. We're moving on to Quentin Blake. Thank you, Ken, for those questions. Moving on to Quentin Blake, and he asks me. Movie question was, what actor should play Sarah Pazzini in Witchblade if they do a live action action movie? If they ever do a Witchblade film and they were casting Sarah Pazzini, let's see, who could play Sarah? I would, because they did a TV series and I watched it. Yancey Butler was Sarah Pazzini. Let me see, who could play Sarah? If she didn't retire, and they did it, or I would have definitely had oh God, what is her name? Why am I forgetting her name? Oh God, I gotta look her name up. I forgot her name. Let me see. Elijah Dushku. I could have seen Elijah Dushku playing Sarah Pazzini. There we go, Elijah Dushku. She's definitely one of them. But I would definitely try to go for like an Italian actress, Italian American actress to play. I'm not saying that you have to go with that, but yeah, you just want somebody who's legit. You know, a rough and tough New York homicide detective that gets this mystical artifact that's been around and has been on some of the most important female figures in history, like Joan of Arc and Cleopatra and people like that. You know, yeah, you definitely want to. I would definitely but Elijah Dushku, definitely, I would love to see that. Next question. Your game question is, do you think William Bashkovich from the Wolfenstein series and G.I. Robot would be good friends? Yeah, because Nazis. Yeah, they be friends. Try not to go too much with the crossovers, but yeah, somebody wasn't reading the rules, but that's fine. Yeah, they would. Your comment question is, could Kyle Rayner as the White Lantern beat Silver Surfer? No. Plain and simple, no. The White Lantern is strong, but we're talking about Silver Surfer. We're talking power cosmic. Even the White Lantern has limits. Power cosmic doesn't. So no. And your anime question, could Guts beat Pennywise from Pennywise the Clown? I'm 50-50 on that. I'm not going to say no because I love Gatsu. Yes, that's his full name, Gatsu. Everybody keeps saying his name is not Guts. Look it up. His name is Gatsu. But yes, Guts, okay. But there you go. Thank you for those questions, Quinn. Next up, Eliza asks her movie question. What movie is very underrated to you? That's tough because there's a lot of them I think are very underrated. You should have given me a specific, like, movie, but there's so many. There's so many I feel that are underrated in a lot of ways. Well, I'll just throw it out there. Look, Van Helsing is underrated. I swear, like the hate that movie gets, or just there are a lot of people that didn't like that movie, or the movie failed. The movie's great. I love that movie. It's probably one of the best werewolf designs that's not practical, in my opinion. Yeah, so I'll just throw Van Helsing up in there. Your video game question. What video game is underrated to you? That's tough too, because there are a lot of video games that are underrated. Let's see. That's really tough, you know. That's really tough because there's a lot of them that I could think of. There's a couple of Turok games that I think I'll use Turok for example. Turok, the last Turok game I think that came out, I think that was underrated. In my opinion, it didn't get a fair shot, but I enjoyed it very much. Your comment question: what is the meanest comic villain to you? Meanest comic villain. Meanest comic villain. I would probably say Mr. Sinister. He's mean and he's scary, so yeah, there you go. Anime question. Imagine Gatchaman teaming up with the Avengers or the Justice League. Yeah, that'd be cool. They're young, so, but it'd be cool. It'd be interesting to see. Maybe we might see it someday. Maybe we will. Just let that sink in. That'd be kind of cool. So thank you for those questions. Moving on to Adam Strange first. Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I like your name. The name is so cool. Your movie question. What's your favorite Jason Statham film? Favorite The Transporter. I think that's where he really found his niche with that. I love The Transporter. I love all three of them, but my favorite is I think the second one's my favorite, even though that's over the top a little bit, but I still like that one. There was four of them, but the fourth one I think was a requel or prequel, or I can't remember. I didn't watch it. So video game question. Do you feel Metal Gear Solid 1 should have got the remake treatment? Yeah, I think so. I would have saved 3, but I would have loved to see Metal Gear, the original Metal Gear Solid, get the remake trigger, that facelift. I would have loved to see that under the new, yes. So yeah, I would say that. And anime question: dubbed or subtitled? I'm a subtitle guy. There are only a few animes that I acknowledge that is just as good dubbed. There's only a few, in my opinion. I'm more of a subtitle. I rather listen and hear the characters in their original dialect and speaking Japanese, and I hate that, the whole concept. Man, I'm not gonna sit there and read and watch. I can't. You can't do that. It's right there on the screen. It's like when I hear stuff like that, it's like, do you think in other countries when they have American movies or just in general, it's not, there's not subtitles under there so the audience can read what's going on? Huh? Like, give me a break. Like, give me a break with that nonsense. For example, I give you an example of a series, a franchise that I refuse to watch in dub form. Dragon Ball. The Dragon Ball franchise. I'm not saying I didn't watch it, but I before it even got adapted and even imported here to the States, I had already watched the Dragon Ball Z, and once Dragon Ball Z was still going on here in the States, I was already on GT, which is my least favorite, but I watched it already. I had already seen that stuff. So when y'all were just getting into, when they started getting past the Frieza saga on Toonami, I was already done with this. I knew what was happening. I knew it was, and I would tune in sometimes just to see what the sound, and I'm like, I hate the music that they choose. I hate this. I don't like the actor who voices Goku now. I don't like him. I refuse to acknowledge him as Goku. I don't think he does a good job as Goku. I prefer the original actors who voices, and that means Miss Nozawa Masako, the queen who voices Goku, Son Goku and all. She's still doing it now. She's 88. Still does a better job than any of them. When she does that Kamea wave, you feel it. You feel it more than Mr. Sean or whatever his name. I can't even remember his name. What he does. Get out of here. So yes, I'm a subtitle guy. All day. I got no problem with that. If you want to know, like, what are those animes that, hey, what level are you, Adam? There you go. I'm giving you something to think about. So thank you, Adam, for the questions, Mr. Strange verse. Let's see. Moving on. Okay. Next up, Mr. Spartan. What's up, Mr. Spartan? He asks, what's your overall favorite Jackie Chan movie? Overall favorite Jackie Chan movies. It's a tie. It's a tie between Rumble in the Bronx, because I think that was when Jackie was pretty much at his peak fighting, and also Police Story. I love Police Story. Love that series. That Police Story. It's between those two. I'm a big Jackie Chan fan, so I'll watch anything Jackie Chan, but Police Story and Rumble in the Bronx. Next question. What was that? Oh, video game question. Here's your video game question. How many video game consoles have you owned? Ooh, oh boy. How many video game consoles have I owned? Let's count, shall we? Okay. We start off with the Sega Master System from the 80s. The original Nintendo. Sega Genesis. Sega CD. Sega 32X. Sega Saturn. Game Gear. Game Boy. Well, that's not a console, so I'll just Dreamcast, PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 4, Xbox 360, Xbox X. That well, I mean, there's like 15. I think, and soon to be PS5. So yeah, I've had over 15. I've had. I've never owned Neo Geo. At that point in time when Neo Geo was out, that was like 400 to 500 bucks. Never owned Panasonic's 3DO. Yep, that's right. Panasonic had a gaming console. I played Atari, but I never owned the Atari. My cousin did. She had it, but I never had that. Never had a Super Nintendo. I once Sega came out with the Genesis, I became a Sega loyalist. I had everything Sega, everything, and so I still own my Dreamcast. So yeah, but I never. My brother, he started getting into more of the Nintendo stuff. So my brother Malcolm has the Nintendo 64, the Wii, and the GameCube and everything like that. But I stopped after the original NES. Nothing against Nintendo. It was just that, I just became a Sega loyalist big time. That was it. I was just a Sega loyalist, and it does break my heart. It does break my heart that Sega left the console game. I wish they stayed a first party company than a third party company. It does. I still think Sega could have lasted. Cause it kind of bothers me a little bit when I see Sonic on Nintendo or on Sony and then I'm like, that's just so weird to me. It really is. So yes, thank you for that. Your anime question is, have you ever watched Black Clover? No, I think that it's on my list to watch. I've never watched Black Clover. I want to watch it. I got some friends that have watched it and they liked it, but I've never watched it. I definitely want to watch it. Yes. So you definitely. Comic question. Favorite X-Men villain of all time? Easy. Mr. Sinister. Always. Mr. Sinister to me over Apocalypse, over Magneto, over the Brood, you name it. Mr. Sinister to me is that villain, and that's who I want to see in the MCU X-Men movies. They got to do Sinister. They got to do him. They need to make him like he's the boogeyman or like Voldemort. We don't speak his name. Don't say his name. Like, he needs to be scary. Like, I'm all about that. So thank you, Mr. Spartan, for those questions. We move on to Solomon the Hooded. What up, Solomon? Your movie question. Greatest trilogy. Greatest trilogy. I will always stand by Back to the Future. Back to the Future, I think, is one of the greatest trilogies in cinema history. I think all the movies were great. I know a lot of people say the third one was weak, but here's the ticket and key and the genius of Robert Zemeckis and Bob Gale, who is the writer of that franchise. Every movie, you got a hint or a foreshadow of what the sequel was going to be. So you look in the first movie, they kind of give hints at what would have been the sequel, because they talk about it really wasn't supposed to be a sequel, but yeah, it did so well. So yeah, and then in the second movie, you kept getting hints of like the third movie was going to be about them in 1885 Hill Valley in the West. So I love that. So yes, Back to the Future is one of the greatest trilogies. There wasn't any more movies. There was only 3 movies, and I'm telling you right now, keep your promise, Robert Zemeckis and Bob Gale. Keep telling these fools over our dead bodies. Don't let them remake these. There's no need to remake Back to the Future. It was perfectly set where it was needed to be set. There's no need to make them. Not at all. I'm just saying. Because I don't see anybody playing Doc Brown better than Christopher Lloyd. And yes, there was another actor before Michael J. Fox who played Marty McFly. There's film of it and you could see it. But Michael J. Fox is Marty McFly, and I've met practically almost all the cast. So yes. Next up, your video game question. Favorite Mega Man game is a tie between Mega Man 2 and Mega Man 8. And your comic question. Favorite Western comic character. Favorite Western comic character. There's a few, but I'll definitely Jonah Hex. Jonah Hex is definitely one of them. He's right up there. And that's all your questions. There was no anime questions. That's fine. You didn't have to answer that at all. So yes. Thank you for those questions, Solomon. Okay, moving on to the next set of questions, and they come from Zachary Thompson. And Zachary asks, his movie question is, what's the movie you loved but everyone else hated?
A common answer to this is the 2016 film Suicide Squad, which was panned by critics but found a dedicated audience.
No, that's not my. Mine is actually Jurassic Park 3. People hate that movie. I don't hate it. I actually like it, and people hated it. Like, it's probably the worst one out of the franchise. The original 3, I enjoy it. I like it. Because like I said, I enjoyed it until I got on the internet, and when I heard that people, and then when me and my brother finally went online and seen like the hate that movie got, I was like, wow. So yeah, that's definitely one. Your video game question is, I'm a big game collector as well. Is there a game or game system you wish you had back in your collection? Yeah. Oh yeah. I wish I had my Sega Saturn back. I'm always on eBay and places like that looking to find a Sega Saturn like at a reasonable price, or if I could auction it or something like that. So yeah, my Sega Saturn is definitely up there. Sega Saturn is definitely up there. Because I loved Sega Saturn in terms of like the fighting games. I love that. Definitely. I had a lot of import games for Sega Saturn. The original PlayStation is another one, because I have a lot of imported PlayStation games as well. So yeah, that's definitely up there. Comic question. Why do people seem to enjoy legacy characters at DC, but when Marvel does it, they don't seem to like it or hate it? Well, DC has a higher, a bigger head start on the legacy characters. I mean, when you look at the legacy characters from, like, for example, the Flash, the original Flash is not Barry Allen. The original Flash is Jay Garrett. Then Flash came, and then Barry Allen, and all things like that. Same thing with like the Green Lantern. There's Alan Scott first. He was the first, and then all the other Lanterns came, but their powers are the same, are different. And then when Marvel does it, when Marvel tries to do it, most of the time they do it, but it's not like, for example, let's use probably one of the biggest ones, the big two. Let's use one of the two big. Well, I'll put 3 up in there. Let's use Kamala Khan, who is Ms. Marvel, Miles Morales, who is another Spider-Man, and Riri Williams, who's not even. She doesn't call herself Iron Girl, or she goes under a very villainous name, because there is a character in Marvel called Ironheart. For some strange reason, people hate Riri, and I don't understand why. And I'm talking about the character. I'm not talking about her live action version. I'm talking about her comic. Even before she even was adapted live action, people hated her, and I don't understand why. I don't get it. And then don't get me started on when they adapt the new show. My God, the amount of bullshit racism that just came out about her is ridiculous. Made no damn sense whatsoever. So you hate a smart character. A character who's smart. Okay, check that off. You hate that character. You hate a character who, what is it? Is because she's from Chicago? You got hate for Chicago? I'm from New York. I have no hate for Chicago. What's up with that? That's dumb. Is it because she's black? That probably is one of the biggest ones. And at the time, or is it because she is taking over a character that in the beginning was less as big as he is now? Let's be real here. Okay, let's be real. For a lot of people, folks, most of y'all don't know, Iron Man was never a top echelon Marvel character. He never was. He never was. He's not the face of Marvel at all. Don't get it twisted. Still to this day, Spider-Man is still the face of Marvel Comics. Don't get it twisted. Iron Man may be the face of the MCU, but he ain't the face of Marvel. He's not. He was still in most cases a B-list hero to a lot of people. He wasn't an A-lister. He was like a B-lister. So I don't see it. Now you got Kamala Khan, who came around at a time when the original creator, G. Willow Wilson, and them, they wanted to make her a mutant. They wanted her a mutant, but Marvel said no. We don't make her an Inhuman because they were trying to push the Inhumans more. So they made her an Inhuman, and she still got over. People love Kamala, and when they casted her live action, probably one of the best casting of a character. My God, Iman Vellani is great. She is perfect as Kamala. And then of course, then what did they do? Then they in the MCU, they were able to bring what she really was supposed to be, a mutant. And now in the comics, they have made her a mutant Inhuman hybrid. And there's people that hate that. I don't hate it. I think it's fine. It hasn't changed her character much. Not at all. She's still great. She took on the mantle of Ms. Marvel. Who had that before her? Carol Danvers. Now what is Carol Danvers? She's like a legacy character because there was a Captain Marvel before Carol. Marvel. And then let's move on to Miles Morales. Miles is a great legacy character of Spider-Man. Now, personally, I think he works better. He worked better in his own universe calling himself Spider-Man, because that's the one thing that I don't like is like he's in the 616 universe calling himself Spider-Man, and then it makes it kind of dumb because people should not be stupid enough that they be like, wait, that's Spider-Man, then who's that one? Nobody questions it. It's dumb. It's stupid. The problem I have with Miles right now is that they constantly keep giving him a power upgrade. And I'm like, oh my God, like, why are you doing that? It's like, it feels as if them giving Miles another power is like it's supposed to make him stand out. That's not making him stand out. He constantly keeps getting a power upgrade. And I'm like, what is that? What is that for? Why? He was perfect the way he was. You don't need to keep giving him another power to the point. It's gonna get to the point where people are like, yo, he's OP now. What the hell? Why are you doing that for? Like, there's reason for it. And I can see where people, but at the end of the day, look, I think a lot of it comes down to some people look at these legacy characters when Marvel does it, they think it's just lazy, they think it's just rushed. They think this and that. I don't, because you don't give them a chance. Like, people don't give them a chance, and it's like you say, "Oh, we want this. Oh, we want that." Then and when they do deliver, you're like, "I don't like it." Huh? But when DC does it, oh yeah, I'm all for it. Like, how? What's the difference? You see what I'm saying? Like, come on. Be a little bit right with yourself. Come on now. There are two, like, even in the sense there was two Superboys at one point. Until Jonathan now started calling himself Superman, which I hated that, because he didn't even get a chance to be a kid. They aged him up, and I'm like, that's stupid. Why'd you age him up? You know, so it's like this for me. I have no problem with it. I would love to see more legacy characters in Marvel, especially if the original is gone. Like, you see what I'm saying? And many times they do it because the original is gone. Moving on, your anime question. And by the way, guys, this is still Zachary. Your anime question: favorite anime based on a video game. Street Fighter 2, the animated movie. Still go watch that film. That's the best Street Fighter film ever. And still to the day, the animation in that is still picture perfect. I throw Fatal Fury in next. That's great. The Devil May Cry anime was good. The original one. So yeah, there's a bunch. But Street Fighter 2, the animated series, the animated movie, definitely. Thank you. Next up, Duke Lawton asks, here's your movie question. Do you feel The Matrix needed sequels? No, I don't. That's an unpopular opinion, but I do. I don't feel that The Matrix should have had sequels. I don't. I don't. And the reason why I say that is because by the end of the first movie, what happened? Neo was already the one. I was like, they could have built that up more. That should have been the reason for the sequel. Is he or is he not? I didn't care too much for the sequels. That much. I really didn't. Your video game question. Thoughts on Darksiders 4. I'm surprised they're doing a fourth one. So now I haven't even started the third one. So yeah, I have all three on. I think it's on my Xbox, or I think it's on my Xbox, on my PS. I still haven't even started finished them yet. So yeah, I'm surprised at that. I was shocked, but I'll give it a shot. Just saying. Your next question, your anime question. What's one of your favorite female anime females? Sailor Jupiter. I love Makoto. She's my favorite. So definitely, Sailor Jupiter is my favorite anime girl. She's one of them. She's also my favorite of the group. I love her. Whenever I go to conventions and I see people cosplaying as her, I always want to take a picture. Like, can I get a picture? You know, give me a pose or something. I love that. I love her. I love her so much. Question, your comment question. Favorite Wonder Woman story? Probably my favorite Wonder Woman story. A lot of anything Greg Rucka wrote for Wonder Woman. There was one when she was blind. Love that story. I love that story. I forget the name of the title of it, but that's one of my favorite stories of Wonder Woman. Loved it. I loved it so much. So thank you, Duke, for those questions. We're moving on to Comic Freak X, and he asks his movie question. Favorite film that was filmed in NYC. That's tough, because there have been a lot of movies that were supposedly filmed in New York, but the New Yorker in me can tell, no, that's not New York. You know, that's Toronto or somewhere like that. But if I was to say any a film that was filmed in New York, definitely put Ghostbusters up there. Ghostbusters is definitely one of them. Definitely. Next up, video game question. Video game crossover you would love to have played. I'll say it again. I'll say it again, and I said it before, and I'll say it again. A video game crossover I would love to have played is a Devil May Cry and Ninja Gaiden crossover. I would get a nerdgasm times 9,000 to see that. See Dante and Ryo Hayabusa fight together. That'd be so cool. How about that? Comment question. Why do so many people hate Superman with the energy powers and didn't give it a real chance in your opinion? I was not one of them. I actually thought it was interesting that Superman now, he had these energy powers. I thought it was cool. I even liked the design of it, like he was blue and his costume was white, and you know, when he turned back into Clark, when he was Clark Kent, he felt like he was mortal, like he can get hurt, and I was like, whoa, okay, this is different. The thing about it is people don't like change to something that they feel isn't needed. That's the basic of it. And they didn't give it a chance because they didn't want to give it a chance because they felt nothing was wrong with Superman. And I'm not saying that anything was wrong with Superman, but it was something different, something fresh, something different. I said that twice already, but yeah, that made him feel different as a character. And anytime I was reading that, when he had his energy power, I was like, okay, he's different. He's still Superman, but now he's got these energy powers that is actually kind of cool, you know. And it was to the point. It's like, guys, you know, DC's gonna put him back in the red cape and blue and everything. It's like anytime Marvel gives Spider-Man a new costume, I literally say I give it 3 months at best, because eventually he's going back to the original OG costume. That's his costume, you know. But it just, like, people just, I do think that before you judge it, give it a shot first. Before you just, I don't want to let you just, you become a quote unquote nostalgia critic. And I hate to use that, but yeah, come on. And that's all your questions. No anime questions, okay? That's fine. Next up, Blue Guardian asks favorite M. Night film. Mine is The Visit. The Visit was a surprisingly good movie. I will say that. That movie was very interesting. Also, anytime you make elderly people scary, I'm creeped out. You know, because one of the things is I work around a lot of elderly people, so I know that sometimes that is kind of scary sometimes. But yeah, that's pretty messed up. But I enjoyed The Visit. But for me, my favorite M. Night movie will actually my favorite M. Night film. I know a lot of people say, you know, I See Dead People. I'm forgetting the name of it right now. You know, and I love that too. But for me, my favorite M. Night movie is Unbreakable. I love that movie. I love Unbreakable. And then he ruined it. I mean, no, he didn't ruin it with the sequel. He ruined it with the Glass. Glass fucked it up. I hated that ending of Glass. I hated that. I hated it. But yeah. Unbreakable is my favorite. Your video game question. Are you excited for the new Turok game? I saw that. I saw that new Turok game. Turok Origins, I think that's what it's called. I saw the trailer for it. I was like, ooh, Turok. I was like, that was cool. And like he can gain like the abilities of like the dinosaurs and stuff. Because I saw it like he killed the dinosaur and you saw it like he was ciphering like the dinosaur's skin and his hide. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. So yeah, I think that I'm excited for that. Your comic question. If you were the editor of Spider-Man, what would you do? Hey, this could be a video. If I was the editor of Spider-Man, not Nick Lowe. If I had Nick Lowe's job, you know what I'd be doing with Spider-Man? Shit. One, I would tell them straight. I would have a meeting with everybody. That bullshit about them can't being together. The first thing I would go to probably one of the best Marvel writers that Marvel has, and I would tell them to write a canon Max series for Spider-Man that negates one more day and all that bullshit. Retcons that big time. Once that's retconned, everybody under the sun, that would be the pinpoint of, okay, now we start everything with Amazing, meaning everything goes. Everything's fine now. I would also have maybe more. I would also have a co-written. I would actually have another Spider-Man book. It would either be. It would probably be called. It would either be called Sensational Spider-Man, or I would come up with a different name for it. And I would actually have two writers co-writing it together, and I would have them have a lot of creative with it. And those two writers would be, I would call who would I would call Kelly Thompson. I would call Kelly Thompson myself personally. Tell her how sorry the previous were. I would tell them, but I want you to write Spider-Man. I want you to co-write it with Gail Simone. I want you to co-write this new Spider-Man book. Will it be canon? Yes, but one of the key things also in this Spider-Man is to introduce new stories, but also introduce new villains. And one of the big key moments of that is like, I want more female villains. I want y'all to create female villains for Spider-Man that will last a while, not just be one and done. I would tell them like she and Mary Jane are back together, all that other stuff. But yeah, I would talk to them like, okay, if you can't use Amazing, and I would say, well, right now, but once he's off Amazing, I want you to take over. And Gail can do this book by herself, or you guys can stay together. Yeah, it'll be stuff like that. That's how I would do it. I'm not even joking about that. Because Kelly Thompson, she was supposed to write Amazing Spider-Man. She wanted to write Amazing Spider-Man, but they chose Kelly, which sucks. So I'd like to see what she would have done with Spider-Man. So yeah, I would do everything. Like I would, yes. Boy, you don't want me on that. Yeah. Marvel would not want me, because I'd be saying screw you to everything that, oh, you can't have them married. Why not? I'll be like, why not? Why not? And I'll be like, give me sufficient reason why not. If not, then I'm gonna be like, then if that's the case, then I'm gonna kill her off then. Because to me, Mary Jane is destined to be with Peter. No one else. I'd have been like, y'all gave her a boyfriend. I was like, that was stupid. That was dumb. No, she's destined for Peter. And if not, kill her off. I'd be like, then I'm going to kill her off. I'll have the writers kill her off. Because she don't belong with anybody else. Not in my opinion, she don't. She is, that's Peter's rock, in a sense. Stupid. And stuff like that. But yeah, anyway, moving on. Your anime question is, were you a fan of the Marvel anime shows? Yeah, I enjoyed them for the most part. My favorite was the X-Men. Next would have been Blade for the most part. I thought I would like the Iron Man one and the Wolverine one. I wasn't a big fan of those. And they did an Avengers one with Punisher, and I thought that was interesting as well. But yeah, I was a fan of them for the most part. Yeah, I was. Thank you, Blue Guardian. And last but not least, we move on to Night Guardsman. Asks the question, his movie question. Favorite Western movie from Clint Eastwood? The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. That's my favorite. That's my favorite Clint Eastwood movie. That Western from him. I love them all. The Man with No Name, but that's my favorite. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. I love that. What was the next one? Oh, your game question. Favorite in the Mass Effect franchise? 2. I love Mass Effect. That's one of my favorite gaming franchises. But if you'd ask me what's my favorite one in the franchise, it's 2. Number 2 is my favorite. Anime question. Rank these Kawajiri films: Wicked City, Ninja Scroll, Demon City Shinjuku, Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust. Ooh, I love all those films. Those are all directed by Mr. I'm forgetting his first name right at the top. I'm not even gonna try to butcher it, but Kawajiri Jiri is that's his last name. So rank them, huh? Okay. Okay, number 1 definitely is Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust. Love that movie. Number 2, I'm gonna go Ninja Scroll. Number 3, for me, Demon City. Number 4, Wicked City. That's how I'll go. I love them all, but that's my ranking. And your comic question is, who's your favorite Batman rogue that has a comic series? Poison Ivy. Poison Ivy, indeed. I've read a few issues of the Poison Ivy comic, and I enjoy it very much. But I'm gonna read them all in trade. So yeah. So I would definitely say Poison Ivy. What I have read of it, I enjoyed it very much. I've read a few of the Two-Face. I read a little bit of. There's a couple of Two-Face miniseries they had, and they were fine. I love the Penguin, but I don't care too much for reading anything about him. Riddler's fine. Mr. Freeze, of course, is my favorite. One of my favorites. I read. They did do a Bane, and I thought it was pretty good. But yeah, Poison Ivy is definitely good. Okay, so that is all the questions that I have. I want to thank everybody who tuned in and participated, and I had a lot of fun with this, guys. I had a lot of fun with these questions. It was cool to do a multi-theme. And thank everybody for following the rules. That's another thing I like. Next month, I haven't chosen a theme for September yet. We'll see. And for anybody who keep saying, oh, I missed it. Guys, I always post it. You should get notification for everything I post on my Patreon. If you're a Patreon member, you should get it. And it's for everybody. It's not just for paid members, it's for free members. And speaking of free members, I want you guys to know, and I did post this on my news feed on my Patreon. This mainly is for free members. If you are a free member, next month starts the beginning of something exclusively for free members. I'm giving you guys the opportunity, and this is my gift to free members, to request something from me. Like, request something. If you want me to do a topic, or you want me to do something, or a review or something, doesn't matter what it is. If you want me to do it, I will do it for you, because the free members don't get because you're not a member of the tier league. So for free members, I'm giving back to you guys. Outside of that, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed. Be safe, have fun. As always, peace, one love, stay tuned, keep it real. Deuces. Y'all take care, guys.